Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living and feed your head, feed your head, feed your head. Right? As in, use the great, amazing resources we have in this day and age to tap into high vibrational information, energetics. So powerful. We need to be discerning about what we take in, not just our food and drink, also the thoughts, the people we hang out with. So, one of my favorite things is to tap into other thought leaders, other content producers to get another perspective on stuff that I am into. Sometimes to get another perspective on stuff that I'm not into also. This one, though, I'm really excited to share with you. Great friend of mine sent me this clip, I don't know, a few months ago. And I have liked a lot of what I've seen on this channel, Stellar Thoughts. Presentation is a little, well, you'll see what it is and you have your own perspective on it. The wisdom, the conciseness in it is awesome. One thing to note is that in here he speaks about translated as creating from 4D, fourth dimension. Others talk about it as creating from fifth dimension. Neville Goddard specifically talked about fourth dimension. Don't get lost in the words, the terms. The main thing is to say, yes, we can create matter to matter. We can muscle our way through things. I've done a lot of it in my life. And there is another place that we can go to, the world of the unseen, the world where thoughts exist and thoughts precede things, physical reality. And he does a beautiful job here of explaining that. So, with no further ado, here you go. Let me know, how does it land for you? What do you think? How does it work for you? Are you applying this? What parts are you? What parts aren't you? What would you add to it? Thanks, y'all. Enjoy.
It is the ability to see the unseen, which doesn't exist in this three-dimensional reality yet. Fourth dimension is time scientifically, but Neville Goddard describes it as seeing the unseen. That is, your imagination. To deny the realities of this three-dimensional world and see what you want to see in the fourth dimension. There is no time constraint in the fourth dimension, no laws of the three dimensions are applicable. You have the absolute freedom to see and experience what you want. The only constraint is your own doubts and fears. But since it is your mind, nobody can spoil your imagination but you. You command complete control on your fourth dimension. Thus, you can create anything so long as you allow yourself to do it. Every single possibility that you can think of already exists in the quantum field, which is the scientific term for what Neville calls the fourth dimension. So, all you must do is somehow observe that possibility for it to occur in your life. Quantum physics states that a room only exists because an observer is observing it. That is, the world is immaterial and becomes physically solid when someone comes with an expectation of seeing something. Our life experience is tailored to what we contain in our consciousness. This is why it is so hard to think outside the box. Because you will have to do something totally out of your comfort zone. Or same life experiences to somehow generate a different concept in your consciousness. Which is almost impossible. This is where the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza meet with the teachings of Neville Goddard. You must feel in your being that you already possess the ideal that you want to achieve. Remember, it all exists in the quantum realm as science would say, and in the fourth dimension as Neville would say. Fourth dimension can be considered the world of possibilities. Since our body and mind is three-dimensional, we cannot invoke fourth dimension with three-dimensional means. We must transcend past our five senses and mind to think fourth dimensionally with just our inner being or our awareness, which is dimensionally larger than our body and mind. Some regard it as the essence of God within man. Therefore, it can do anything in imagination or the fourth dimension. So, we must use imagination. And not just daydreaming. But actually feel our imagination so intensely so that it feels as real as reality itself. Now remember. Our mind doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. So, as long as you feel in your being that what you have just seen is real and convince your conscious mind, then you have just invoked that possibility from the quantum realm to be translated into your reality. It takes some time for a thing to be translated from fourth dimension to three-dimensional world. Because 3D is confined by the psychological time, which is again a construct of the mind. But lo and behold, if you stay true to your assumption, it will come into being. Dr. Joe Dispenza has conducted many studies showing scientific proof of what this feeling of the wish-fulfilled strategy can do. People have lowered their cholesterol, and some have even eradicated cancer from their being. Some have manifested new and ideal jobs and so on. This only shows how Neville was far ahead of his time. But he had no scientific proof of it, which now Dr. Joe Dispenza is now presenting evidence of. We humans have the capacity of lifting ourselves into higher dimensions only if we go within. Spirituality will exalt you to heights you never could fathom in three-dimensional reality. Our mind has no limitations. But again, it is extremely difficult to think outside the box, as it is our 3D thinking and our five senses. To go past this limitation, all we must do is be in a relaxed state, which Neville calls a state akin to sleep, or Dr. Joe Dispenza calls a trance. In this state, the thinking mind is almost asleep, so we can gently lift our attention from this body and this world, and fully dive into the imaginative world, and imagine our ideal state that we want to be. A short clip implying your wish is fulfilled. Like your friend congratulating you on your new job. Or you are stepping into your new house. You see, we are going into the dimensionally larger world, which is as real if not more, as this reality. And we are living our desire right now. And now is all there is. Past and future is an illusion. So, if in the now you can imagine something with vivid details, then the mind cannot differentiate it from being real or imaginary. And so, you impress your subconscious mind as this ideal self. And the rest will be taken care for you. Our entire life is based on this fourth dimension, but we are unaware of it. All day long we are imagining and feeling states in our consciousness. Example can be fear. The fear doesn't exist in physical world yet. But we can feel it so fully that our gut contracts. Thus, we are always manifesting from the fourth dimension, whether we like it or not. This is why Dr. Joe Dispenza states that we cannot change our future from the lens of the past. If you keep looking at this 3D and keep reacting it to the same way, it will keep recreating the same circumstances. Hence, you stay in the box. So, to change the future, we must create it. And to create it differently than what is right now, you must introduce the different ideal. And this is why you think fourth dimensionally, the realm where everything exists. And you experience it in your imagination right now. And whatever happens in the now is the only reality. Your imaginary fear felt in the now becomes real. The same way, your imaginary scene felt fully in the now will be legit. And must come to pass in the 3D. As 3D is nothing but the shadow of the fourth dimension. It must follow what goes on in there. So, begin now and change the conception of yourself. Think fourth dimensionally and ascend into higher levels of consciousness.